What do you make of South Africa's latest drive, 150 miles into Angola, allegedly killing about 345 SWAPO guerrillas? Do you think they're doing this to complicate the negotiating process at this point regarding Namibia?
Leaving aside the casualty figures from South African sources, this is one more example in a long, drawn-out campaign of South Africa against Angola since that country became independent in 1975. Mm-hmm. It is an attempt, of course, to wreck the elections or the efforts to hold elections in Namibia, but it is more than that. It is a reminder to the African people in Southern Africa that as long as South Africa is controlled by a handful of mentally deranged men
my goodness,
who believe in white supremacy, who believe that they have been destined and sent to Southern Africa to rule over the African majority, men who have virtually declared war against all of Africa, there can be no peace. And indeed, there is no peace in Southern Africa as a result of that mentality.
Why are the Russians in Southern Africa? Moscow reportedly supplies no development aid. Angola, for instance, pays for the assistance of the that they get from the Soviets. Yet there remains a feeling in Southern Africa that the Soviets are there out of humanism. Can you explain this?
Well, let's be clear about Russians being in Southern Africa. The Soviet Union has diplomatic relations with virtually all the independent countries in Southern Africa. Therefore, as a normal intercourse among sovereign independent states, they have embassies in independent African countries, and they engage in normal bilateral relations with these countries, obviously on the basis of agreements reached between those countries and Soviet Union. Secondly, it is not true that Soviet Union does not provide technical and economic assistance to independent African countries. Now, independent African country, Southern Africa, has said that.
But it is something that these countries must pay for. It is not a grant. It is not. It's not free.
As a matter of fact, nobody gives foreign aid free of charge. Even whatever assistance is given to these countries by United States or other countries of the West, there is a price attached to it, if only to get those countries to side with the United States. The Soviet Union has been seen by the African people over the years as a friend, because Soviet Union has assisted politically, diplomatically, materially the African people in their struggle to decolonize their continent from European domination. And Soviet Union is the one today, together with many other countries, African, Asian, Latin American socialists, supporting the African liberation movement, SWAPO, the African National Congress, to win freedom for our people in Namibia and in South Africa.
Thank you. I want to ask Mr. Makatini a question. Pete Botha, South African foreign minister, has said that Soviet KGB agent Kozlov, who was captured by South African authorities, admitted that the Soviets are behind the African National Congress. Oliver Tambo, the president of the ANC, refutes this suggestion that your fight for freedom is an East-West struggle. Would you comment on this?
Yes, it definitely is not an East-West struggle or an extension of this conflict. It is a struggle for self-determination, which is similar to what has gone on all over the world. And it is not true that only the Soviet Union is behind the ANC. All the member states of the United Nations, that is the freedom-loving countries, are behind the ANC in fighting against the system that is universally condemned as a crime against humanity. fighting against a regime that is condemned by the United Nations as constituting a threat to world peace and international security. Therefore, the Soviet Union is only responding to numerous resolutions that call for all countries of the world to lend active support to the liberation movement, the ANC, fighting for the establishment of a democratic state. In fact, this is not just countries. This includes the World Peace Council, or rather the World Council of Churches. It includes countries like Sweden, which incidentally is the leading country insofar as financial assistance to the ANC is concerned. And yet we're always told about the Soviet Union. And nobody talks about the African countries that are all supporting our cause. Now, this is mischief, and we know what it is intended for.
Now, you've brought a BBC tape that we'd like to look at right now. Can we see clips from that tape? This will tell us a little bit more about what we were just talking about.
Isn't most of your weaponry Soviet?
What does that matter? What does that matter?
It matters because unless the Soviet Union gave you those weapons, you could not fight your war.
Exactly. Exactly. And we have to fight a war. If nobody is going to give us weapons, the Soviet Union is gratefully willing to give us weapons. But what does it matter that the weapons come from the Soviet Union? What does it matter?
Because people suspect that there are political ties attached to those weapons.
No, I must really assure them.
Not unreasonably.
No, it's quite unreasonable. But I must assure them that there are no political ties whatsoever. I must assure them of this. But I would like to ask them, what would they do in my position? What would they do? Why did the West go into alliance with the Soviet Union in World War II? Why? Same Soviet Union. Who contributed to the defeat of Hitler?
The guerrillas sing of the man they regard as their leader, the jailed nationalist Nelson Mandela. Show us the way to victory, say the words. Freedom is in your hands.
Will there be one man, one vote?
Certainly. That is inevitable. There will be a one man, one vote in this country, and there will be a majority government in this country. But that majority government will accommodate everybody.
A fortnight ago, white South Africa celebrated its 20th anniversary as a republic. This show of strength was designed to reassure white South Africa that its citadel was safe, that its enemies attacked at their peril. The guerrillas made their point too. As the festivities reached their climax, the ANC launched a series of attacks. With a defence budget of over £1 billion a year and a nuclear weapon, South Africa seems capable of dealing with any army in Africa, let alone the guerrillas of the ANC. White South Africa intends to be around to celebrate its 40th anniversary. Most blacks intend to see it is not.
Will there ever be one man, one vote in South Africa?
No.
Isn't that why you are almost certain to be faced with a bloody war?
No, but there's not one man, one vote anywhere in
Because
Africa.
20 million black people in your
but you
country
see, your
wish
problem
to have
is
the vote.
it is no use. You keep on arguing about 20 million blacks. And I say to you that if that is your argument, you do not understand the situation.
That is not how the blacks see it, Minister.
And apparently you refuse to see that way. Now, I tell you, I'm giving you the facts. What concept have you got of Africa and the struggle of the Africans? What have you done for Africa? What have you done to Ghana, your glittering example of independence? Where is it today? Where is there freedom in Africa? Do you want this whole southern part to be overrun by this kind of thing? No newspapers, no freedom of expression. Why do you think things will develop differently here under a one-man, one system than it did in the rest of Africa? Who gives you the right to be intellectually dishonest?
Sir, all I am doing is putting to you what many black people we have spoken to have told us, and
Now-
they have said one
Now,
thing.
why don't you ask the black
They
people
wish
to whom
to
you
be
have spoken?
enfranchised.
Why don't you ask them? How would they compose their state?
Mr. Makatini, what of Botha's argument why have the economies of countries like Uganda, Tanzania, Angola seemingly collapsed under majority rule?
Of course, Big Botha doesn't take into account that if the South African regime is not collapsing, it is because of the slave labor, which guarantees exploitation of the blacks and therefore colossal net profits. There's no talk of, there's no collapse. These countries are a victim of the policies of destabilization by the South African regime, which takes all forms, including military acts, including economic warfare. And some of these countries have in fact inherited problems from the previous regimes that were colonial regimes and have not been given sufficient cooperation from by the international community. You take countries like Angola, a country that has faced this undeclared war since its birth after the obtaining independence from Portuguese colonialism. Same case of Mozambique and many others.
While the pass law no longer exists in Namibia, it's still very much present in South Africa. Could you explain this briefly?
Well, the pass law really, the pass in South Africa is a badge of slavery.
Does this mean that you have to have a visa to travel from one town or city to another?
It's one of the things. It is aimed at ensuring the control of the movement of the blacks so that they are clearly located to various tribal creations which are called homelands, so that the movement of blacks from those areas to the cities is strictly controlled. Even their wives, when they are there in order to administer to the needs of the white racist rule, cannot visit them, and their children cannot visit them because they are considered superfluous appendages according to the official terminology.
And if someone does not have a pass, what happens?
Is arrested, and the result is that hundreds of thousands of people are arrested every day for failure to produce that document on demand, and he has no right to be in an urban area.
But there seems to be some talk of a new act being passed regarding blacks living in urban areas, giving them new powers of municipal self-government. Are you aware of this?
It's just part of a euphemism that South Africa has mastered as a technique. What they're talking of, in fact, is further fragmentation of the African people into various categories. The urban blacks, so-called, who are needed, in order to ensure the running of the labor to profit the exploitative system, then are now going to be allowed. That's a very small minority, just a little over 1 million, and the rest of the people have no right to be the urban areas.
So this doesn't mean that Soweto will be able to govern itself?
Never at all. I mean, it's aimed at ensuring tighter control of the urban population as the slaves of the system.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're running out of time. I wish we had much more time. There's so many issues to discuss. Thank you for being with us.